than some of the existing mechanisms.
Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Megan Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take a short call on this to speak to the title, because I think this is a nice way to round up this legislation. And like previous speakers, like my colleague David Parker, I want to acknowledge Sir Paul Callaghan and his family and the way in which he is being memorialised in the naming of this institute after him. I think it is incredibly important, and I think that there is no one in this House that doesn't acknowledge the contribution that Sir Paul has made to thinking in this country, both as a scientist and as someone who has thought very deeply around the role of science and research in the place of the New Zealand economy. And one of the things I just want to reflect on is Sir Paul's relationship with the Royal Society of New Zealand. Of course, Sir Paul being at one time President of the Academy Council of the Royal Society of New Zealand, a scientist of some note, not just an economic thinker, who published over 240 articles in peer-reviewed journals. We can't underestimate the brilliance of this man in his own field of academic discipline. In 2001, he was made a Fellow of the Royal Society of London, and in 2005 was awarded the Royal Society of New Zealand's Rutherford Medal, a very high honour to be awarded from the Royal Society in New Zealand. And then, of course, in 2008 was awarded the James Cook Fellowship, one of the highest honours to be awarded by the Royal Society in New Zealand. Therefore, it was with great sadness for me personally to read the Royal Society of New Zealand's submission on this legislation, and I just want to enter into the Hansard one paragraph from that submission where they say the ongoing uncertainties surrounding the ATI, removal of a research focus and the implication of large-scale staff relocation all risk putting the personnel situation of the new institute in jeopardy. This level of upheaval puts at risk important research skill and capability. If expertise is unable to transition, it will be lost overseas. And to me, this is really sad, because one of the things I know that Sir Paul Callaghan knew, that one of our greatest resources in this country and one of our greatest potentials was in the minds of our people and in our personnel capability and our ability to come up with innovative and brilliant concepts that we can use to form the basis of our economy. And here we have an organisation that Sir Paul was so linked to throughout his life and acknowledged his brilliance as a scientist in this country, submitting about their fear that the establishment of the ATI in its current form was actually going to lead to a loss of that skill. And that is something that we on this side of the House think is a real opportunity lost. To truly honour Sir Paul Callaghan and the work that he has contributed to this country, we have argued all the way through that we needed to have this link through to the real research, to real science, and to not just have this organisation, the Callaghan Institute, the Callaghan Innovation, to be a front end for commercialisation, because it has to be about research, it has to be about science, because we cannot separate the two. They are so inextricably linked, and that is something that Sir Paul Callaghan thought, and I think that man's life stands as a testament of the way in which someone who engages themselves in fundamental science can also be at the cutting edge of thinking about commercialisation and how it is that we integrate fundamental science and research and academic excellence into our economy in New Zealand. So we are pleased that Sir Paul is being honoured, but on this side of the House we want to make sure that the organisation and the institute that is established lives up to the name that it is having put on its masthead, because that is a big name to live up to, and that we have to get all these things right. We all need to honour that man, and the greatest way for us to honour him is to make sure that we have research excellence at the core of our thinking around innovation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, we come to the vote on clauses 1 and 2. First, we have the Minister's Amendment as set out on SOP number 151. The question is that the Minister's Amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that Clause 1 as amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that Clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I will report the bill with amendment.
The House is resumed. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, the committee has considered the Advanced Technology Institute Bill and reports it with amendment. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The bill is set down for third reading next sitting day. Call Government Order of the Day number 2.
Financial Reporting Bill, first reading.
Mr. Speaker.